Welcome to Thrones and Scones. It's your weekday morning podcast where we talk Game of Thrones over breakfast, except it's Saturday and it's the afternoon. And
none of us have breakfast.
None of us have breakfast. We've got various beverages, and we're just kind of here hanging out. It's Tony, Hans, and Jeremy. And we have a special guest, Rob and Rob's your uncle. Rob, I was going to say your last name. I don't know how to properly pronounce it. Is it Bullock? Is it Bullock? How do you prefer it?
Bullock. I mean, it doesn't.
Bullock.
It doesn't matter. People have called me Bullock. People call me Bullock. People have asked me if I'm related to Sandra.
The resemblance is just so.
It's uncanny. You're not even going to tell us whether you are or aren't? You're just going to leave it hanging there?
Yeah. I mean, you can figure it out.
Good. Okay, sure. Well, thanks for coming on. We understand that you're a fan of Game of Thrones, and we also understand that you like to solve people's problems.
Yes. I'm a big... There's a lot of problems in this world, and it's up to one idiot and his other idiot to solve the world's problems.
And you didn't bring your other idiot along. So which one of us are you going to choose to delegate with the idiot title? Might I suggest?
Go ahead, Tony.
Might I suggest somebody who? Oh well, maybe it can't be the idiot, because I think if we're helping people, we need to help.
I'll be the idiot.
Oh, you're going to be the idiot.
You don't have to be an idiot.
Okay, perfect. We'll be the experts, the professionals that we normally are.
Yeah.
And if we could please help Jeremy pronounce character names correctly, it would help me so much.
So, Jeremy, we didn't tell
Words
you, but this was
hard.
actually an intervention episode.
This is an intervention.
Rob, real quick, do you want to give us a rundown on what your show is about, what your podcast is about, and Rob's your uncle?
So the show itself is basically an advice show, but it's an advice variety show because sometimes we don't always give advice, and sometimes I just complain about something or tell people about my new recliner.
I can see it. It looks very nice.
But, I mean, other than that, I mean, we like to solve the world's problems. People come to us. We talk about... Am I allowed to swear on this?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
No.
We don't. No.
We talk about people's
we
dicks
just talk
a
about
lot.
flaccid penises all the time.
You talk about dicks. Oh, perfect. Strap in and strap on. Let's do this.
We're a big fan of dicks on my podcast.
Okay. Now I'm listening.
Now, hold on.
Now
you said podcast. Now I am confused. Do you call it a podcast?
Yeah.
Okay. I must have some fact wrong. I was under the assumption that you can't legally have a podcast if you don't have a segment related to baked goods.
Yeah, that's...
And I don't think you have that.
I mean, we have a whole episode about weed, so that kind of works, right?
Are you putting it in scones, however?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so, actually.
Okay.
Am I breaking the law?
I don't.
You guys might have to show me what you're looking at, because I didn't read that in the podcast bylaws. You know, the monthly club that we all go to.
The club. Indeed. And here's the thing: are you also messing up your Instagram constantly? Because if you're not, can you even be in
Besides
the
words
right
being
here?
hard, clearly posting things on a schedule is also very difficult.
Oh, it is. It is the most difficult thing in the whole world to do. I mean, you guys are lucky because you have three. When it's just me and Tyler, we do not ever post anything on social media. The episode that came out last week, or today, whatever day it is in podcast land, the last time we posted an episode before that was 5 months ago. It's the last time we made a social media post.
5 months?
5 months.
Oh my. You leave them wanting more.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what you should be doing.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah.
I think Jeremy and I did the math earlier today. We have obviously at this point posted up 10 scones, and we've done the wrong one on the wrong day 40% of the time.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Hans. You're the only one who hasn't messed up. But we appreciate anybody who stuck around for the past couple weeks to join us as we kind of hit episode by episode. Now we just kind of want to talk season 1 a little bit. You know, we're going to be getting into episode by episode season 2 starting on Monday, and we just wanted to recap things because we've really gotten just a few moments to hit things on the surface, but there's so much that we could talk a little bit more about. And if nobody has any objections, I would like to start with a critique that I got from somebody that I think would make a little good talking point. They were saying that they enjoy the show, they've been listening to all the episodes, but what they don't like is how much continuous and unadulterated shit we give Sansa Stark.
Really?
And so I want to talk because I think Sansa gets a lot of shit. She also kind of deserves like at least a little bit of shit. But do you guys think that Sansa Stark is a bad character? Like whether or not you like her and whether or not you like watching her as a character that stands in this universe and what she's, you know, what her motivations are, what she brings to the show. Do you think that she is a bad character, or do you think that she has these arcs that have redeeming qualities?
Has anyone been listening to our podcast?
So,
we rip on Joffrey, we rip on Viserys.
Yeah.
Catelyn. We did rip on Viserys a lot, yeah.
Cersei. I mean, I'm pretty sure we don't like anyone except for Ned.
Yeah.
It's like,
Ned, yeah, how are we even going to do season
Hodor's
2?
penis. We're a fan of that as well, right?
I did like Hodor's penis.
So
yeah.
did Sophie Turner bring this up? Is she the critique?
It was Sophie Turner.
Okay.
Yeah, she hit us up. Sophie Turner dating Joe Jonas? I just found out about this like the other day. Apparently, it's been going on for a while. I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
I don't know. I didn't know that either.
Oh, perfect. I feel so much more hip. Never mind, guys. It just started happening. And this is breaking news. Sophie Turner and Joe Jonas are dating. I only know it ahead of you guys because we got the you know the radio heads up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
She mentioned it in her email when she critiqued the episode.
Exactly. She's like, "Hi, this is a
P.S. My heart Jonas," and then signs it. Done.
Jonas. So really, because I do think that I like to hate Sansa, and I sometimes she just annoys me. I want to start off by saying, and again, not just because she wrote us an email, I don't think that any of Sansa's problems have to do with Sophie Turner. I don't think that she is portrayed poorly. I don't particularly like the character of Sansa in the show or in the book. I do not think, totally for me at least, it's not an actress issue. I'm not trying to throw shade or spill tea on Sophie.
In regards to episode 1, or in season 1, if we were just starting there,
sure. Yeah, sure.
I think it's a pretty good arc, right? I mean, she starts as this kind of like naive, young future queen, right? I mean, she's going to be marrying the future king from the beginning, and she gets that, and she is wants to please him, but she also wants, you know, her family to respect the fact that she's going to be doing this, so she's trying to be ladylike and all those things. I mean, that the death of her father, you're like, oh, she faints, which is very, you know, ladylike and the whole knighthood thing. And then that scene where she gets it, where she's like, I'm going to murder him. I'm going to push him off. I know I'm going to die, right? She clearly gets the hands there and she's going to lose her life. And it passes by. But in that moment, I think, like you said, and I think we talked about this in our episodes, that we no longer have that naivety anymore. We're starting to develop an actually interesting character. So as much shit as we give her, I think we actually come at the end of our discussion and give her credit for the development.
I think that, and I won't say all the time, because right now I'm currently starting to make my way through season 2. Where Sansa's at right now, I'm enjoying the things that she's going through. I mean, I'm not enjoying watching her get shit on, but she's like, the way that she's handling and the things you can see going through her head, I kind of like it. My problem is it doesn't really lead to much for a while, but there are characters that I don't like, and then there are characters that I don't like to watch. And I think Sansa's just one of the characters that I don't like to watch. Like, for instance, Renly Baratheon is kind of a character that I don't like. I don't really... He seems to come out of nowhere with this whole king thing and just spark this revolution just to add another level of complication to everything. And I don't think they do a good job of setting that up. And he doesn't stick around long enough to be redeeming to me.
Yeah.
I don't like the character of Renly Baratheon. I like Sansa Stark. I just don't think that she's particularly interesting to see with my eyes when she's doing her thing. But
I
Rob, you had a point there you're gonna make.
Oh, I was just gonna quick say, like, I think she's probably a necessary character for a lot of other people's story arcs. Like, I think she is a character like that is necessary to pretty much show off how much of an ass Joffrey is. But yeah, I can't stand her. Again, I don't think it's the actress's issue at all. I think Sophie does just fine. I think she probably portrays the character exactly how the writers wanted it. I think it's not a character that I'm interested in.
I think with her character evolution throughout all of the seasons, you see that the influences that she has to learn from to be in this ruthless world are the Lannisters. Mm-hmm. So the Lannisters and bad people. So I think that the things that she's doing are pissing us off because she's doing things that the Lannister would do.
That's a really good point, actually. Yeah.
That is good.
True.
You know, she becomes the Lannister for the Starks. You know, she gets that ruthlessness for, like, when she's talking to Jon later in the seasons. You know, she is very.
You gotta stop. I'm not used to us making this much sense.
Yeah. You need to mispronounce Lannister. It's Lancaster.
Yeah, if you could please.
It's Lancaster.
Or you need
The
to make up.
Lancasters.
Or you need to make up words like naivety, which Jeremy just said.
It's naivety.
Jeremy, over Christmas, did you put out your naivety scene?
I was literally just about to say that. It has baby Jesus with Maria out there.
And everyone
Joseph.
just looks so innocent.
The Star of David is good as well. I feel like maybe you guys don't have enough culture in your life to have this dialect that I have, but clearly I'm giving this to the world, so no worries.
So when we think of season 1 of Game of Thrones, obviously the thing that started it all, what are big things that stand out to you guys? Of course, things that you like or that you don't like, things that you want to delve a little bit deeper into. I just want to open the floor here and see what happens. So if somebody has something they would like to address, bring it before the court, and we will rip it to shreds and or talk about its penis.
Seems like we want to talk about penises a lot today.
I would love to. It's been about 30 minutes thus far of recording, and I haven't seen a single one. So, chop, chop. Oh wait, no, sorry, that's season 4.
So I've got a funny story actually, real quick, and she's probably gonna kill me for this, but Jenna, basically every time I say Jenna's name on this podcast, she goes, "Why did you talk about me?" And she gets all upset. So
we need a code word.
Yeah, so I get this. So she's actually been listening to the podcast, and I'm not even forcing her to, which is surprising in its own right. But I get a text, and she goes, "You blamed me for the Hodor's penis thing." on why I rewound it, and she was like, I was like, well, yeah, that's how it happened. She's like, yeah, but they don't need to know that. And I was like, I said, yes, they do.
The world
that's
needs
the kind
to know,
of
Jenna.
Yeah, that is the kind of in-depth, investigative type of work that we do here on Thrones and Scones. She's a natural. So
it was very impressive, and you had to throw her under the bus because I just threw myself under the bus, and you had to divert that. You were doing me a service.
Yeah, I just thought I was giving credit where credit was due because I think it would have been irresponsible not to cover that scene in the detail that we did. If not, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? We owe it to the listeners.
This brings me back to an important thing. After listening to that episode whilst editing, and you had mentioned that there are in fact pubes, but they're gray, I went back for a third time to take a gander at said scene. This time pausing and kind of really getting up close personal with my TV.
4K exists for a reason, right? I mean,
and you're right. There most certainly are some gray pubes. I still think it's a very well managed bush.
Yeah,
that he's dealing with here. There are unanswered questions. That's all I'm going to say about that. We've talked at length and at girth about Hodor's penis. And I don't really think there's much more to cover, except, of course, everything
Yeah. So,
on his body.
Rob, I was talking to you a little earlier. You have, for this episode, you have binged the entire first season in a span of just a few days.
Yes, I did. I mean,
Wait, is this true?
I skipped 2 episodes.
Okay.
But
Okay, which 2 episodes?
second episode, because I didn't need to see him on the road.
Let me see my notes. Oh, yeah, that's fair.
And then
Okay.
the one that you guys just covered on Thursday.
Okay.
Okay, so...
8,
wait, the one
right?
where Ned dies?
Yes.
Episode 9, like the biggest episode.
I knew what happened.
Okay. That's an interesting choice. But that's a fair point.
I mean, that's in the past. That's not looking forward to the future.
Yeah. That's true. That's impressive.
I think all he's saying there is we did such a good job of
Yeah.
recapping that episode that he didn't need it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had mentioned earlier before we started recording that you have some problems with season 1.
My biggest problem is, I get that it's season 1, but
Sure.
they have no concept of time and distance in that show.
It's they set the tone so wrong so quickly, and it comes back to somehow get worse later on, way down the road.
Well, I think they fix it.
But yeah, you're so right.
I think they fix it later in the seasons because in the later season, it takes Arya like whole seasons to cross all of Westeros. But in one episode, the episode where Robb is going to war, in one scene, he's saying goodbye to Bran, and then the next scene, he's in the South with his army.
Yeah.
Already and talking about battle plans, like not just
Which is,
arriving.
Supposed to be like what, a 2-week distance to get down to the Riverlands or something crazy
Yeah.
like that? Yeah. That's like
and right away they set it off where
It took
even
them a
in
month
the
to get
first
to
couple
King's
episodes,
Landing. Yeah.
the king gets to the north like immediately to go talk to. It was like it was no big deal. It's like he got on his jet and just made a quick trip.
fuel up the jet before a piss missile. And then they did. Yeah, I do think it does get better in the sense that, yes, characters finally start taking a while to get to places, and then bam, out of nowhere. I think it might just be anytime they go past the wall, they just really don't know what time is. Because there's that one episode in the most recent season where everyone's on that excursion above the wall, and they send someone off with a message as they're surrounded by an army. And that message gets back to Daenerys, and she brings dragons before the army comes and murders them. Like, it's 100 feet away from you. So I think distance is this show's biggest Achilles heel long term.
I get that they're trying to speed up story because no one wants to see Daenerys flying on a dragon for 3 episodes, but you know it's
except if she's naked, right? Because
Except
then
if
we
she's
all would watch that for 3 episodes. I'm like, what'd you guys think of season 8, episode 9? Still in the dragon, still flying. Those boobs look great. They are fantastic.
This actually brings me to the next email that we got. It's from Amelia Clark, and she says, "Can that one guy please stop talking about my naked body so much?"
Well, it's just so nice, and we're always about, some truth speak here, so.
Oh, that's you know who else wanted to speak the truth and get a little creepy with Daenerys' body? Viserys.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave that there, Jeremy. Do you want to be Jacaerys?
Sure, why not? I mean,
All right.
What's the little gold in my life,
You got to own it.
So, Rob, speaking of your overall thoughts on season 1, Tyrion's accent, any comments?
Yeah, Tyrion goes through a lot of changes with his looks throughout the years, and I'm going to be honest, after not seeing the first season for so long, the first time I saw Tyrion, it was jarring. Like it's
very different.
I see the blonde hair, the short blonde hair, the clean cut, and I'm just like, whoa, this is, and it is very like it took him a while to get to that new that good Tyrion voice. I mean, you could see it. It was just those earlier episodes, but like the episode where he becomes the last episode where he becomes the Hand of the King and is talking there. That's where we're starting to see the Tyrion that we know. But man, that accent.
The first three were rough.
Tyrion and Jaime both like. Is there blonde out of a bottle like in their characters like because they both lose it pretty quickly and like Jaime you get because he gets dirty but then like either he never gets clean or they're just like oh he got so dirty it got into his roots and it changed the color of his hair.
Well, I think they were not that I think that they should do this but I think they were originally planning to do the old Destiny treatment and just take Peter Dinklage right on out of the show after the fact. They realized it was a little more expensive than they thought to pull off the CGI, but
I want to before we run out of time completely, and I'm so into being all sorts of nonsensical. I did notice we said probably 8 different times throughout the show about different plot points. Oh, this is like the point that the Starks messed up. And so I want to see if we can actually find one point, the point of no return in season 1 that actually sets the Starks on their downfall of demise, leading to Ned's death, leading to this war. Like, is there one point, because I know we've made it as early as Bran climbing, I think Jeremy said in the last episode.
This is it.
And as late
I can't believe we disagree on that. As soon as he sees her tatas getting knocked around, he's done.
So would you say that point?
I mean, I think that's how this story is sold, right? I mean, the Lannisters are plotting already, and they're looking for that kind of like point of no return. And once Jaime pushes him out of the window, like Catelyn loses her fucking mind.
I kind of agree with you at first. I was like, yeah, I mean, really. But then the more I got to thinking about it, like even if Bran didn't get pushed and he didn't see that, they're still going to get the letter from Lysa. Ned's still going to figure out that Jon Arryn was murdered. He's still going to look into it, and then he's still going to end up dead.
Yeah, I don't know, but does Catelyn do all the things that she does, right? Which really kind of puts a giant push forward, right? I mean, that really sets essentially starts dividing, finding who you're gonna back, and I mean that was kind of my point. I don't know if there's what I don't understand for if you argue that it's not that Bran not being pushed out. Mm-hmm. Like where's your spark? You're gonna argue the letter?
No, I'm not gonna argue the letter. I just think that's it saying to me that those chain of events were gonna happen anyway. I think the thing that really sets it off is her kidnapping Tyrion, because that's like the Starks pushing back, and that's immediately like in Tywin and Cersei's eyes, they're like, we can't. No, that's not happening. We're done. And then that's what puts Ned on this such small timer. He's got like this ticking down dynamite fuse basically. And, not that I necessarily think he'd figure things out if he had a month instead of 3 days, but, it really sealed his grave. That's what I'm thinking.
But Catelyn wouldn't have arrested Tyrion without the push out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm not saying that the push doesn't happen in this scenario. I'm just saying I think like had he been pushed and had everything played out and Catelyn not arrested Tyrion, that we still wouldn't have been as rushed as we were. Know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand now. I get you.
Especially, I would argue that too. Like, or actually, not argue. To your point, Tony, I would say I would agree with that because it's hard to say how far Cersei would have taken that to trying to kill Bran or trying to assassinate Bran or have him assassinated. But Jaime even seemed like he didn't really, when they found out Bran was alive, he was like, whatever. He didn't even seem like he was that worried about it. He's like, they're going to say what they want and no one's going to believe them kind of thing. And so I don't think he would have really taken it that far. And it's interesting to think if Cersei would have like really even pursued it much further than that. I agree. I think Ned, it's hard to say exactly what point, but I think just in general, Ned being in King's Landing and finding out that Joffrey's not the true heir is just death.
Does it?
Yeah.
Does it have to be a Stark that makes the decision? That's because I think
No.
the other decision that was made that could be part of at least Ned's downfall would be Robert going hunting. If he would have never gone hunting, he would have bought Ned a lot of time, and Ned would have still told Robert that, Joffrey's not your
Jamie.
son, all that stuff. And I think it would have played out differently, because I don't know if the Kingsguard would have betrayed the king. They could have.
Ooh. Yeah, but they're not in their pockets yet. Like, we see them later on. Like, they start filling their pockets with the Kingsguard and stuff. That's an interesting point. I love the fact that we can blame it all on Robert Baratheon when in doubt. Like, it really takes it away from me having to put any blame on Ned.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to do that. He's so pure and dead. Poor dead Ned.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because if Robert Baratheon would not have been on his deathbed, like you said, Ned absolutely would have told him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, I mean, you could tell in the episode when he's talking to him, Ned's making the decision to tell him or not on his deathbed, and he decides not to. I mean, he kind of gets what he wants if the Lannisters had any honor or whatever, but it would have protected Ned a little bit longer if Robert was still alive.
I have to kind of second Tony's point that he made earlier, that Rob's just bringing in some serious, insightful thoughts to this show.
Yeah,
almost to the point of making us look bad. We need.
Cut me. You can just cut those parts out and be like, idiot.
Yeah,
he went on for like forever.
Yeah, we were thinking about more of like someone coming in and starting a segment called Beebs. Something of that nature.
I wouldn't want to compete with Bubblies and Jubblies.
Thank you. Nor should you. As far as screen time and air time, if we had to give a Good, Bad, and Jugglies MVP for season 1, I think without a shadow of the doubt, it goes to Hodor, right? Like, he got so much. He got like 30%.
Like 30 minutes about his pubes at this point.
I'm not saying we have to do it again. I'm just saying, if we're sending out awards, we should send Christian Nairn one. I don't know what he's doing for work right now.
He got the strongest reaction out of us, too. And I think that's actually really good, Tony. I think maybe we just spend just a couple more minutes here giving out some Thrones and Scones awards.
I like this.
Yeah.
So, do you have some in mind?
Because I do have an
I can
idea.
make some up.
Please.
So Hodor, I think we all agree, taking the Jugglies portion of the Good, Bad, and the Jugglies for this season, as long as everyone's in agreement.
Hear, hear.
Here. Yeah.
All right. I like that.
Jeremy's shaking his head, but yeah.
That's close enough to an acknowledgement.
All right. And man, was it juggly. I think an honorable mention though is our ball forward fellow earlier in the season.
Oh, we hardly knew him.
we hardly knew him, but will I guarantee just has created a joke that will just live on for a very long time.
Rest in peace, buddy.
Not only a joke, but a fashion statement too, I think.
Yeah.
So
do you think Lancel and Hodor are hanging out? Because we know how Lancel likes to shave the one armpit, and I'm thinking maybe he's talking to him about manscaping. He's like, "Hey, I don't know if you tried this, but I'm known kind of around the town so I can do a nice little shave of your armpit, and maybe scape you up a little bit." Right?
I mean, just based off of the viewing of the first season, he is our only manscapist that we've seen, if I'm not mistaken.
And also, I'm just to interject so we get everything straight. I know it's in perfect Jeremy fashion, but you're referring to Loras and not Lancel.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean they're similar.
They look the same, right? They do.
Yeah.
They both have long hair.
Yeah. Both very skinny, weirdly skinny.
Both like the cock. Yeah.
No, Lancel's fucking Cersei.
Yeah, I know. No, I know. Because Yeah. Anyway,
We don't think that she has a cock.
I mean, we don't know that she doesn't.
And we actually do know that she doesn't.
All right. Best character.
Shame.
Who wins
Shame.
best character for season 1?
Do we have any sort of parameters there, or
No.
it's up to our
It's
discretion?
up to your discretion.
Best character, season 1, Ned Stark.
Yeah, I agree. I have to second that.
Jon Snow.
And it's his only season he can win it, so I think we got to give it to him.
He's in later seasons when Bran starts to go backwards in time.
That's true. That guy with the weird face.
It's just not Sean Bean.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give Tyrion the honorable mention for the season 1.
I think he just gets so much better. This is
He does, but I think he's interesting in the first season. And his role in what happens is important, right? Just as Ned's role. I
Yeah.
think Tyrion also is in a very critical role throughout this. So, yeah. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm just saying.
From the last 2 episodes alone, I almost wanted to give it to Rob, but I know he's like a shoo-in for next season,
yeah.
is the thing. Like, he gets... It's bittersweet how good Rob Stark gets.
I would
Rob?
I
Not Stark, but Bullock?
I would have to say Jon Snow.
Oh, really? Okay.
Jon Snow throughout all of is by far my favorite character. I remember everyone talking to me about Rob and being like, he's so good and everything, but I was just like, Snow the whole way, because I find Jon Snow's issues that he's dealing with the world way better than the ones that everyone else is fighting with. And he's the throughput actually protector of the realm in the whole thing. I don't know. I'll have to say Jon Snow.
Yeah.
I like that, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think any one of them could take the trophy there.
Have we considered Theon Greyjoy?
No.
Okay, I don't want to. I'm curious if you had.
I think it's the last time he's good in the series. The last time he's decent. I don't know, a decent person, I guess.
I mean, I'm surprised nobody mentioned Bran Stark. I mean, Bran's got that crazy moment where he climbs into that fire after his husband died, and he burns away all his clothes, and he hatches 3 dragons. We forgot all about that beautiful Bran moment.
I mean, he has great jugglies. They're just nice. The areola is so well defined. I can't. And then she holds the dragon right there.
Good old Bran Arias Starkarian.
I ship it.
Loves Drogo. Loves them.
I'm surprised no one said Danny.
I think that Khal Drogo actually gets an honorable mention. For being a good character.
I absolutely agree. I think he probably could have been one of my favorite characters if he didn't go out the way he did.
Yeah.
We really only got to see him in one fight scene.
Yeah, he never really got to prove how much of a badass he was.
Yeah, we just didn't get enough of him. I wanted more.
Before we bounce here, we've got have you guys all seen the first? It's like 4 seconds, but have you seen the first bit of footage from season 8?
No, I haven't seen it.
I have not.
I'm seriously in the dark. I'm not gonna watch any of it.
I'm gonna tell you what happens.
I won't touch it until it comes out. Yeah.
Well, perfect. I'm gonna tell you anyway.
Cool. Good.
So what happens is it's just an HBO's new thing. It's like there are all these series that are coming back this year, clip, and there's just this real short bit of Game of Thrones. People are already dissecting it to hell, but it is essentially
it?
Please.
Okay,
please.
Here's what I guess. It's just a bone dragon's eye opening.
That would be dope. No.
Darn.
I guess it's a little anticlimactic after it's already burnt down the wall. No, it's Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen looking a little awkward. So who knows what they may or may not have realized? I don't know. And it's Dany walking up to Sansa, and Sansa just says, "Winterfell is yours, Your Grace," and that's it.
Interesting. It's just like it's just John and Dany looking a little bit awkward, and then like Jamie coming over and just putting his hand on their shoulder.
Good show.
Been
John.
there.
Been there.
Oh, fuck. Cat scared me.
I tried to look up the the lineage for that. They're cousin. It's cousin and aunt, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, nephew and aunt.
Nephew and aunt, yeah.
Which I think at this point has been. Some people. I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Someone doesn't think that it was confirmed. I swear that it was confirmed in like the last episode of the show. Last season, it seemed to be pretty positive to me. I mean, it's been a theory for years and years and years, but I thought that they all but said it.
I think Bran said it, didn't he?
Yeah. Well,
Bran said it. Is that I think he said that like Jon's a Targaryen or something like that.
I don't know if he said it. From what I remember in my head, and we've already proven that this is vastly unreliable. It's like Bran saying something. I got to tell him about his heritage or something, and it goes back to the flashback of Ned in the tower. He holds the baby, and then the baby's face is like it cuts, and it's Jon's close up of Jon's face, and it pans out.
Right.
That's what I think.
And
happens.
And what's Lyanna whispers to Ned the name too. She calls him like that. I think that was I think that's one of the things people were trying to like lip read Lyanna Stark saying Jon.
Oh. I assumed that I didn't even pay attention. I assumed anything she whispered would be just promise me, Ned, because I swear to God, it's got to be the most typed phrase in those books. Promise me, Ned. It shows up every 5 fucking seconds. Promise me, Ned. He has a flashback every other day. Poor Ned Stark. Rest in peace. I'm gonna pour some out for Ned. Does it count if you pour it into your mouth? I think that's against
Sure, yeah.
I didn't want to make a mess. Ned, I appreciate your sacrifice, but I didn't want... It's carpet. I didn't want to...
Did anyone else want to send out any trophies to the... I mean, I'll have to put them in the mail later.
Yeah, oh, sure. Who do you think gained the most this season? I would say Joffrey.
I'm going to say Joffrey from a standpoint of the throne, absolutely.
Daenerys.
You think?
Yeah.
Daenerys also lost a lot.
But she got 3 dragons.
It's true. It's true.
It's kind of a big deal.
It's true.
But I mean,
I think
where
Joffrey,
she came
right?
from, too.
Probably Joffrey.
Well, you could argue Cersei too, because she's really like everything that Joffrey gets is pretty much hers in a sense too. So
sure.
Okay, so who do you think whose character grew the most in this season? I mean, you could argue Dany, right?
You could argue Hodor.
Grew so much.
He's got giant's blood in him. I mean, as far as what we see,
yeah,
Sansa.
So I would say Jon. I think
It's not fair.
With him actually getting it. I mean, that, like I said, with him actually understanding his place now. I think he's finally starting to.
I'm 3 episodes into season 2. He still doesn't understand his place. Like, he's still not quite there, I don't think. But
yeah, Jon's left the
tough.
Night's Watch quite a bit, actually. I think there's 4 times that he leaves the Night's Watch.
It becomes a bit of a pattern.
He's got issues, man. We love him for it.
Yeah, I mean, Daenerys grows a decent amount because, I mean, where she was in the beginning of the season, she is
running for her life, right? Trying to figure out how she's going to survive.
She's confident and, but I don't know if I want to place that because I feel like Daenerys has these moments of like really, really fucking bad luck. And then, and then out of nowhere, she's just automatically the most powerful person in the world again.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, it's dumb luck and bad luck all at the same time. I don't know.
Daenerys has the same character flaw that Sansa has that gets on my nerves, and it is that when an opportunity presents itself with a very obvious thing that you should do and a very obvious thing that you shouldn't do, she does the thing that should not be done. It's just that she seems to come out unscathed from it.
Yeah.
I think Rob,
unscaled.
Rob, it's hard. Well, Rob doesn't really start that low, right? He's already kind of the mature older brother. I think he really does grow quite a bit. Obviously, when Ned dies, he has to kind of take up that role, and I think he does it well, for the most part in this season. The bit that we do see him, but
we could say the wolves if we're going literal.
Yeah,
they were so small. Now they are not.
Yeah.
They
funny
mentioned that in the show. You know, Catelyn comes out in the first episode. Damn, those things grow fast.
Yeah. Because that's what they had to spend exposition time on. We couldn't see it.
Yeah.
I think with the families though, with like Stark versus Lannisters, the entire season you're starting to see how good the Lannisters are at manipulating, how they're always a step ahead, but there's always this undertone of like, but they're very shallow with their ability to actually make change, right? It's always like, I mean, we see growth across the board with the Stark family, those that survive, right? We really see big changes for all of them. But do you see that with the Lannisters? I mean, Joffrey's still an ass. Cersei's still a cunt. And then
Are you referring
Jaime,
to this season specifically?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I'm saying in this season, you see a tide shifting. It's like, despite everyone's like, oh my god, what the Stark family do? They're all being hunted. This is all going to shit. But then you really get an undertow feeling of like, no, I mean, we're seeing a change in the wind. Even though things are bad, you already get a sensation that there's going to be this build of overcoming. And we're already in the first season. And I think they do a really good job of that in the book, especially that first book, of kind of like setting that up just as well. And I think the visual, like actually seeing the growth in the show is good. So,
What do you guys think is the moment in the show that made you watch season 2?
Well, yeah, I say. So I said in the episode, I think episode 7,
There's fucking
episode
dragons.
6, it was Viserys' death that I saw like a video of that made me watch the show. And then I think from like the 3rd episode, I was in. Like, I pretty much binged the first 2 seasons because they were all out already in a few days. So I don't think there was, after episode 3, it could have been shit, and I still probably would have watched season 2. They did a good job setting things up. I wanted to see how it played out. Thankfully, it didn't end up poorly. I think that they're doing a great job.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. By the time I started watching the show, multiple seasons were already out. So I was just off of the praise and the media and everything of what the show was getting. I was kind of in to binge it before even seeing a single episode or a single scene. So I was pretty much committed. I had a lot more free time back then.
So do you think this season is the worst season of Game of Thrones?
No.
No, I don't think so. It's hard for me to remember which number they actually are. A lot of the season with Cersei getting shamed, that when that new god guy comes in from the 7 or whatever, I didn't like that part at all. I felt like it was just like, all right, let's slow everything down so that we can build it back up again.
Yeah.
It was that's the season I think is the worst.
That arc for me never really hit.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, it's really tough for me to also remember. I think that is the season. I'm thinking season 6.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same season where that stuff goes down. So I would vote for that as well.
Yeah,
But
I also think
that's. I mean, that's not to say that I think that's bad. I mean, never during that season did I go, I'm done with this show. Like,
right.
Still very into it.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing is I don't think ever that I've watched this show, and even in the books, like I think it's paced really well, and I think that leads to then the fever kind of continuing, and I'm excited to see how this plays out. Yeah, no, I mean, because I feel like there's a lot of really good shows. I mean, that have bad first seasons, and it's how often do you tell people like, oh no, just get through the first season and then it gets good. And I feel like you kind of get that a little bit for the first couple episodes. I mean, from our own podcast, we're like, what'd you guys think? Yeah, I mean, it was okay. It was okay. And I mean, besides Hans, who's honestly admitted already, it's okay. We enjoyed this. So we liked this show. Or we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. So that's why I was just trying to make a point of like, it's the first season. It already passes that thing where, I mean, there's such good writing, and obviously it's coming from a book, so that's why I feel like there's so much good to come that it's hard to really put a point of like, where do you tell people, if you get to this point, you're in. Because I always say if you can get to Daenerys, and those titties, then I think you're fine.
I knew it was gonna come around to that.
Well, he asked when, and I had to finish it.
And I probably give it a bit of a bad rap too. I think probably the only reason, because I actually do really like the show. I said it would probably be in my top 3 for shows on right now. I think the only reason I seem so reserved on it is being friends with Tony. It's like even if it was like my favorite show, it would still pale in comparison to Tony's love for this show. So,
what can I say? It's great. Oh. Thank you so much. Somehow you stuck around, if you're hearing this, for longer than an actual episode of Game of Thrones. We hope that you enjoyed the nonsense. As always, you can hit us up, Thrones and Scones on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find us back doing our normal thing, coming to you on Monday morning, as per usual, when we will have scones and all will be right with the world. But of course, thank you so much to Rob for joining us. Rob, how can they find you?
You can just look up "And Rob's Your Uncle" on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you get your podcasts. It starts with the ampersand. We did a dumb thing. I mean, it's hard to search.
Can I say, I love the episode naming scheme, though, of doing the RU thing. That's hilarious. Like, that's so clever. So I think that's great.
Thank you. Yeah, and, I guess, do you guys put your social media on the podcast?
Do it.
oh yeah.
Yep.
If you want to hit me up on Twitter, I'm at the Rob Bullock. Facebook and stuff.
Yeah.
Same
Tell
thing.
us,
Same thing.
Tell us about your penis.
Tell us about
Now to the real point of our show.
My balls are forward.
Okay, good. Perfect. The trend has set.
And the question, of course, are you regretting this decision to come on this podcast?
No,
today?
I had so much fun. Thank you guys for having me. It's a blast. I don't normally get to talk to people about all the Game of Thrones stuff. Tyler doesn't like the show. Yeah, he's the worst.
Kind of wish you would have brought him along now.
Exactly. I think he would have
set him straight.
Yeah.
Set him straight to hell. Yeah. Oh, well, I can't wait to get into season 2 here and see what shenanigans get up with that. And until then, you're down with GOT.
Yeah,
you know me.
I realized the other day that we've been like saying it the whole time, but never once have we actually done like the rap thing. So if someone doesn't catch it, they're not going to understand. It's going to be like, those guys came up with the lamest catchphrase ever.
Or the best.
Or the best.
Yeah,
That's fair. That's fair. You come in, you break our hearts. Hans tells us you're going to have a scone. You don't. And now we're just, I don't even know what to do.
I can pretend to have a scone. It's not like we spend a lot of time on the scone.
Whoa. That's a critical part of our
it's
show.
50-50.
We try to keep it 50-50.
Yeah.
It's in the title, Rob.
I mean, I feel like we're working towards it every episode.
One of these days, we'll probably talk more about Game of Thrones than we will scones, but so far it's just been
pretty even,
all
pretty
scones.
equal.
It's been pretty even, I think.
Yeah.
I want to hit the Smash Brothers thing again because I haven't played the game at all. I don't even know if I played the last one, really. So, Rob, who is your Pokemon? Nope, sorry.
Who's my
Doesn't have to be a
Pokemon?
Pokemon. Doesn't have to be a Pokemon. It can be anything.
It's King Dedede.
Ooh, that's a solid.
Yeah.
Is that one of the ones that people don't like?
It might be. I don't know. King
I
K.
think they were like.
King K. Rool they don't like either. But
I don't even know who that is.
I play all of the evil kings. They're my favorite. King Koopa, King Dedede, King K. Rool. That's me. All the way.
King Joffrey.
King Joffrey.
So do you prefer the heavies
Big
then?
fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, more of a heavy, yeah. I mean, I just unlike the game that, like, so my son's 6, and so that clearly doesn't mean the most complex gameplay. But he already is getting, like, guarding the edges and how if they're off the edge, you can jump at them and try to hit them. And yeah, you may die, but you can kill them. I mean, like, because he wants to watch it on Twitch. Like, he watches Zero. I don't know if you guys have heard of Zero, but so I literally watched him watch a training video for 25 minutes of Zero playing. Yeah. And just like, and of course, this generation's just like, YouTube and watch videos of people playing games all the time, and Ethan's totally into that. So
Nice.
I don't know. I mean, it's nerdy and I love it.
So meta.
So meta. So meta night. So if you had to put 3 Game of Thrones. No, that's too much. Everyone just gets one. You get one Game of Thrones character to put in to Smash Bros. I will start as you think. I would put Melisandre into Super Smash Brothers, and her main move obviously would be her down B, where she squats and releases a shadow demon that then patrols like a 5-foot area. And if you're Renly Baratheon, it's just an instant kill. Obviously.
So we know not to put Renly into the game.
Yeah. It's basically just to keep Renly out of the game because we don't want him. Renly's got a lot of weaknesses in Smash Brothers. Very easily distracted by both men and women. He just gets flustered in different ways. Who's next? Give it to me.
So I have two. I would go two. One, I'd do Arya, and I would make her a Link character with the needle. I mean, because why not,
Sure.
right?
That's all. Yeah, that's what we need.
Or I'd argue she could be more like Sheik, right? Kind of like that assassin model kind of thing. And then I would do Daenerys, and I would have her almost like the Pokemon trainer, where she can bring in the dragons for different things, like call them in. And then her finishing move would be like the chess flash, and it would be like beep, 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 like shooting lightning out of them.
Daenerys is good. I mean, she's
Or
immune
fire,
to all
'cause it's
fire
like dragon.
damage.
Yeah, whatever.
It's pretty good.
Does she
Now,
do
when
that in Game of Thrones? It's been a while since I've watched the episodes.
She does it in the books.
Oh, okay.
She does it in the books.
Sure. They're like,
now,
finish them, fire.
When she calls forth the dragons, do they after they're done? Do they just leave for a couple weeks?
Yeah,
time?
It's more like a surprise. You never know when they're gonna show up, and she's always just
Nice.
flashing, and nothing happens. Yeah.
That'd be the problem with Arya or any of the Starks as well. They have the wolf companion that you can call in, but half the time it's too expensive and it can't show up.
And it looks like shit.
Yeah, we can't afford the CG for this battle. Sorry, guys. Next.
I think I'd go for something of Ice Climbers or a Duck Hunt style.
Yes.
I would have Bran Stark and Hodor.
That's good.
I think the powers are crazy. I mean, I think his Bran Stark's down B, he's gonna end up taking control of one of the other players, so that he can beat up for a certain amount of time. And then obviously the final smash is Hodor taking off his clothes and just right out there.
Just whoa,
the big wang just right on the field.
See,
Giant's blood.
I think his down B is he throws Bran to the ground. Just chucks him down. And Bran's laying on the ground gimped, and you have to pick him back up.
That's beautiful balance, actually. And then if Bran's in his special too long, then Hodor seizes up and collapses, and you can't use him.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, Hans, you should have gone before Rob because yours.
Now I got
Better be good, Hans.
I think I would throw the Night King in there, right? Then
Ooh.
call arm. You could if a character dies, once a character's out, you can resurrect and bring him back as one of the White Walkers.
Yeah.
Pretty badass. But most importantly, if you're fighting Pikachu, you can take Pikachu back and play as Pikachu. Pikachu or die.
That's really the game there. Yeah.
That's actually the only way the Night King wins. Is if he resurrects a Pikachu.
Pikachu. I mean, let's just say it's no coincidence that this year, Game of Thrones ends and Detective Pikachu.
No coincidence.
It's the crossover we all wanted.
Oh.
Do you want to know what has a surprisingly high review on Rotten Tomatoes? I mean, maybe if you trust them or not, but Paddington 2.
Oh,
It's got a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's some bullshit.
It's not
don't
bullshit.
sleep on Paddington, Jeremy.
No, but I mean, what are 6-year-olds? Ethan, I'll call him. I'll just go get him up here, and he'll be like, "It's fantastic." Smash.
Just say, they've had a rough year, all right? Rough couple years with this Brexit stuff. Sometimes they just want to watch a bear in a jacket.
Eat some
Who
jam.
are you to judge?
Speaking of movies that it got surprisingly good reviews, I haven't seen it yet. I think Tony, you saw it maybe. The Into the
Spider-Man?
Spider-Verse.
Oh, it's good.
Heard it's phenomenal.
Yeah,
I would
it's
not
really
have
great.
I would have not have expected that, but
It surprises me that it is so highly reviewed because, I mean, it is very, very good, but it's still an animated superhero movie. And the fact that it's got like such this wide acclaim is a little odd because I think that like my dad probably wouldn't be as into this movie. And he's like, oh, but you said it's good. I'm like, yeah, it is good. And you might like it, but you might not. And I just don't think that everyone would get it. It didn't have a super different vibe, but it was really good. It was an awesome story. And the cast is crazy.
Cast is crazy, yeah.
Yeah, it's got a lot of people in
Freaking
it.
Nicolas Cage. Freaking Haley Steinfeld is in it. John Mulaney is in it.
yeah. I
I
know
was
another.
really surprised that it was PG too, because it was enjoyable. And what's the last time you saw a PG movie that was enjoyable?
Paddington 2.
I knew. See, full circle. Yeah.
Has anyone actually seen Paddington 2?
No, I haven't.
I mean, I haven't, so here's the thing. I haven't taken Paddington 1 out of my DVD player for long enough to see anything else. So, no, just keeps rolling on repeat.
I love that you have a DVD player.
It's not even my PlayStation. I have an external DVD player.
A DVD VHS combo.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Gonna record me some television later.
Bone Dragon would be a sweet nickname, right?
Like for a human?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try and start that.
That should be your Twitter handle.
I'm gonna call you Bone Dragon from now on.
You could be like Hans the Bone Dragon.
That's literally all I could. Once Rob said that about the teaser, that's literally all I could think about. Is like just imagining how sweet it'd be to go by Bone Dragon.
I just think we found the title of our episode, in case you're wondering.
So anything you said after that, I wasn't listening.
It's like 40 minutes ago.
That I was thinking of that and how bad I gotta freaking pee. So we gotta end this. We gotta end this damn podcast before I piss myself.